It's hiring season, which means that China is gearing up for its new batch of Laowai, and also it's time to talk about jobs. More specifically, university versus training school. Generally speaking, these two options are your main options when you come to China to teach English. So I figured it would be really useful to talk about them too, because it's a really big difference. Let's start first with training school, because these are the places that hire the most foreigners. These jobs are everywhere and they are really easy to get. Let's talk about the pros. One, these jobs are really easy to get. Basically, if you're a foreigner and you speak English, you're pretty much good as long as you're from a native English speaking country. USA, Canada, Australia, UK, blah blah blah, places like that. Two, the pay is a lot higher compared to university gigs. Now that's great. You can live really well in China if you work at a training school. Three, you'll have close relationships with your co-workers, Chinese and foreigners alike, and your co-workers will be from all over the world, which is really a cool thing. At universities, a lot of the foreign teachers are just left to themselves and you don't meet a lot of your co-workers, and it's just not the same kind of environment. Four, and this could be a pro or a con, you'll be teaching mostly kids, so the English that you'll be teaching will be pretty simple English. My name is, how are you, this color is this, and I like this, I like that. It's gonna be pretty simple stuff. You'll get adults every now and then, and you'll get teenagers every now and then, but brain won't be tasked too hard with the types of English you're teaching. Let's look at the pros for university jobs. You have a lot of freedom for one. You've got a lot of freedom to teach whatever you want to at a university. The university will kind of give you a book and just say, you can use it if you want, but if you don't want to, that's okay too, don't worry about it. You have academic freedom to a fault, really. You can do anything you want. Two, you'll have a lot more free time. You'll have maybe 16 teaching hours at a university, and then that's it. In each hour at a university, you'll maybe be 45 minutes or 50 minutes, and then, you know, that's it. So you'll in fact have less than 16 teaching hours a week. Three, your students are a lot older, and because of that, their English level will be higher, so you don't need to teach them kind of from the ground up, which is a really nice thing. You're there to really kind of polish off their English and help them kind of work out the kinks rather than building from the ground up. Four, some universities will have quite a few nice perks that you can enjoy. For example, you're getting a faculty card, you can use the library, you can get into the gym, you can get into places for free, which is nice. And also you might be treated to faculty lunches or dinners, or you might go on a faculty trip. Like some of the teachers at Sichuan University went to on a trip to like Xi'an or something a couple of years ago. And you know, periodically there are trips for the faculty. That's really cool. Some training schools will do things like this, but you know, they're not usually, the perks usually just aren't as good. Finally, getting faced with the locals. If you work at a university, you are kind of considered a real teacher, and people will take you a lot more seriously than if you're working at a training school, especially if you're working at a university well known within the province. Like, people will be like, wow, that's really cool, you must be really good, and things like that. Even if you suck, you know, you will be treated a lot better. Unfortunately, no job is perfect. There are cons. Let's start with the training schools. Training schools have a much longer hours than universities. You'll be teaching anywhere from 22 to like 28 teaching hours, maybe even more. Like EF, English First, you may be asked to teach up to 30 hours a week, not including your office hours, your non-teaching hours, which every single school makes you do. And this is true at all of the big training schools, so like Aston English, Wall Street English, EF, New Oriental, Meten, and tons of others. Like you will be asked to work a lot of hours, so that is why the salary is higher. Two, this could be a pro or a con. You have fairly strict curriculums at these training schools. You don't get to teach whatever you like. They say, hey, we have this book and this book and this book, and this is our system. We go up and up and up. Disney English, they have a very strict curriculum. If you can get fired if you don't abide by it. Three, training schools get really monotonous. It gets really boring, just teaching the same thing over and over and over again. And just that constant in and out of all these students, these 45-minute classes, it's really draining. It's really quite draining. Four, you kind of lose face with the locals and you get a reputation. You get stereotyped. because training centers are the kind of breeding grounds, the centers of loser Laowai, the sexpats, the expats who are just, you know, awful people. This is where you meet all of those horrible foreigners at training schools. For example, a guy I worked with at, he would show up to class and he would have black eyes, or he would be hungover, or he'd still be drunk from the night before. He would fall asleep during his classes that he's teaching, fall asleep during demo classes, and you know, all of these other things. He eventually got fired, and from what I hear, he might actually be in prison. Yeah, that kind of thing happens. And while training schools, you can offer an education. Yeah, you can really teach kids. A lot of locals don't really see it that way. The cons of a university, there are a few as well. One, you have kind of too much freedom in a way. You can spend a lot of years teaching here and just, you know, bouncing around from topic to topic without any goals in mind, without, you know, doing anything to really help the students. While academic freedom is great, it is really nice to have a little guidance. So that can really hurt a lot of teachers. Two, the universities kind of leave you alone once you start teaching, which is good and bad, but you don't get to meet a lot of the other foreign teachers. You don't get to meet any of the local teachers. You don't get to know really anyone on staff, and you don't really feel like you're a true part of the university sometimes. You also don't make a lot of money at universities because you're not working those long hours. You don't make that much money. A really good university might pay you, in terms of salary, maybe around $6,000 a month, so less than $1,000. If you're living on campus anyway. If you're living off campus and get a stipend, that's a different story. You may get about $8,000 a month or more, and that's for like a really good university. A lot of times you have to deal with burned out students. Students have spent their whole lives studying, and they spend the last 2 or 3 years preparing for the Gaokao to get into university, and they work and work and work and work, and then they get to the university, and then they're done, man. They're done. They're tired of studying. They're tired of talking. They're tired of, you know, engaging. They're just tired, and that makes your job really frustrating as a teacher. It's horrible. But at the same time, a lot of the students are pretty mature, and they know why they're there and things. But you do occasionally get those burned out students, which, you know, you try and engage with. You try, but sometimes it's a lost cause. Well, I think that's about going to wrap it up in this comparison of universities and training schools here in China. If there's anything else I can think of, I will put it down below in the description. And also, if you're looking for jobs, I will put some job sites down below as well. Good luck to you all. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Thanks again for watching, and please follow me on all of these social media links on this end screen right here, as well as I have a Patreon. If you would like to support me there. If you don't want to, that's fine, but you know, drop a little bit in the bucket if you would like. But anyway, yeah, I think I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching.